You are moving. You have been moving all day. But stop for 1 second and ask yourself, toward what? You call it productivity. You call it effort. But effort aimed at nothing is just exhaustion with better branding. Welcome to the Stoic Compass. I am EPICTETUS, and today I am joined by Carl Jung and LAOZI. Today we are examining why do we confuse being busy with being purposeful. Let me say it plainly. A man who runs in circles is not making progress. He is making noise, and the noise is the point, because the noise drowns out the question he cannot answer. What am I actually for? Busyness is the oldest trick the frightened mind plays on itself. Fill the hours, fill the calendar, fill the silence. And you never have to sit with the fact that you do not know where you are going. That is not ambition. That is avoidance wearing ambition's clothes.
You are not wrong about the avoidance, EPICTETUS, but I think you are describing the symptom without asking what is being avoided. It is not simply that people fear emptiness. It is that stillness confronts them with something they have spent years covering over. The unconscious does not rest when the schedule does. When the busyness stops, what comes up is precisely what the busyness was designed to suppress. Perhaps the real question is not why people stay busy, but what they are afraid they will find if they stop.
You are both circling the same thing. The person who is always busy is not avoiding a thought. They have forgotten that there is something other than movement. It is not a fear they are running from. It is that they have lost the sense that stillness is even possible for them.
LAOZI, forgetting is not an excuse. A person who has forgotten how to be still can remember. The capacity does not disappear. What disappears is the willingness to use it. I am not interested in why people are afraid. I am interested in whether they choose to stay afraid. You can put down the schedule. You can sit. You can ask the question. The only thing stopping you is you.
But the willingness itself is not simply a matter of decision. I work with people who genuinely cannot stop. Not because they lack intelligence or discipline, but because the moment they stop, something intolerable surfaces. An old grief, a sense of worthlessness that the achievements were meant to cover. A recognition that the life they have built does not actually fit who they are. EPICTETUS, you ask people to choose clarity. But clarity is sometimes the most frightening thing on offer.
That is true, but I would say it differently. The busyness is not protecting them from something frightening. The busyness has become the only thing they know how to be. It is not a wall they built. It is a habit so old they think it is their nature.
Then they are wrong about their nature. And being wrong about your nature is the most dangerous error a person can make. If you believe you are the kind of person who must always be in motion, you will design your entire life around that belief. You will mistake the habit for the identity, and the habit will run your life right up until the end, while you insist you were living purposefully. Purpose requires direction. Direction requires a question, and the question is, what actually matters to you? Not what fills the time, what matters.
And here I would add something you tend to skip over, EPICTETUS. Knowing what matters is not always a rational exercise. People do not always know what they value by thinking harder. They know it by paying attention to what moves them, what returns to them in dreams, what they grieve when it is gone. Purpose is not always constructed from above by a clear-eyed will. Sometimes it is discovered from below by listening to what the deeper self keeps insisting on.
You are describing something real, Jung. But I think even your approach still treats purpose as something to be found, something hidden that must be excavated. I am not sure purpose works that way. A river does not search for the sea. It simply moves according to what it is. The searching may itself be the obstacle.
That is a fine observation for a river. We are not rivers. We are rational creatures who can choose what we attend to, what we build, what we refuse. The Taoist image is beautiful, and it tells us nothing about what to do on a Tuesday morning when you have 17 tasks in front of you and no idea which one matters.
On a Tuesday morning, the question is not which task matters most. The question is whether you can feel the difference between an action that comes from what you actually are and one that comes from fear of what happens if you stop. That difference is not subtle. Most people can feel it. They just do not pause long enough to notice it.
That is the crux of it, I think, the pause. People do not pause because the pause is where the reckoning lives. I have seen this pattern repeated so many times that I have come to think of busyness as a specific kind of psychological defense. It is not laziness, it is not stupidity. It is a very effective way of never having to ask the question that might require you to change everything.
And yet the question will get asked eventually. Life asks it for you if you do not ask it yourself. A diagnosis asks it. A failure asks it. A relationship ending asks it. You can choose to ask it now, while you have some ability to act on the answer. Or you can wait until circumstances strip the choice from you. That is the only real option on the table.
That is the only place where I think you are right, Epictetus. Completely right. The question does not wait. But I would say it differently. The question is not waiting for a crisis to deliver it. The question is already present right now underneath the noise. The noise is the only reason it seems distant.
And the noise serves a function. That is what Epictetus keeps brushing past. The noise is not irrational, it is doing something, it is holding something at bay. If we simply tell people to stop and ask the question, without helping them understand what is going to surface when they do, we may be sending them into a confrontation they are not equipped to handle.
Or we may be treating them like children who cannot handle their own lives. People are more capable than you give them credit for, Jung. The confrontation is survivable. The avoidance is what kills you, slowly, one full calendar at a time.
You are both assuming the person needs to be pushed toward the question or guided through it. What if they simply need to be shown that they already know the difference? Not taught, not prompted, just given a moment where they can actually hear what they already know.
A moment. Yes, but someone has to want the moment. You cannot hand it to them.
Perhaps not, but you can help them understand why they have been refusing it. That is not coddling, that is honesty about the actual obstacle. The obstacle is not laziness, it is not weakness. It is that the self-concept is built on the activity, and to question the activity is to question the self. That is genuinely frightening, and pretending otherwise does not make people braver. It just makes them feel more ashamed of their own resistance.
The self-concept built on activity. Yes, that is the real confusion. They do not think they are confusing busyness with purpose. They think the busyness is the purpose. That is the identification that has to loosen before anything else can move.
And it loosens the moment you ask one honest question and insist on an honest answer. What specifically are you working toward? Not in general, specifically. Name it. If you cannot name it, then you are busy, not purposeful. That is the test. It takes 10 seconds. Most people will not do it because they already know what they will find.
Which is precisely what I have been saying. Knowing what they will find is the reason they will not look. We are not in disagreement, Epictetus. We are standing on opposite sides of the same wall.
That is the first honest thing either of you has said about each other.
Then perhaps we are getting somewhere.
Or perhaps you are both just busy.
All of this argument, and we have not yet said the one true thing. You have heard the debate. Now here's something simpler. Here is what is actually happening. You have confused movement with direction, and you have done it on purpose, even if you do not know it. Purposeful action has a target. You can name the target. You can tell someone in one sentence what you are working toward and why it matters. Busy action does not have a target. It has tasks. It has next steps. It has the feeling of forward motion without the inconvenience of asking where forward actually leads. The feeling is the trick. Busyness feels like purpose. It produces the same sensations: momentum, urgency, the satisfying exhaustion of having done things. But the feelings are not the same as the outcome. A person can feel productive every day for a decade and arrive at the end of it with nothing they actually wanted. What separates busy from purposeful is not effort. You can work hard at something purposeful, and you can work hard at something empty. The difference is whether you chose it. Whether you can say clearly, this is what I am building and this is why it is worth my life. Most people cannot say that. Not because they are incapable, but because they have never stopped long enough to require it of themselves. Today, try this. Before you open the schedule, before the first task, write one sentence. What am I actually working toward and why does it matter? Not a goal list. One sentence. If you can write it clearly, you have direction. If you cannot, then what you do today is just noise. The sentence is not hard to write. Sitting down to write it is the whole practice. You have been busy your whole life. The question is whether any of it was yours. Not whether it was good work, not whether it impressed anyone, not whether it kept you moving forward. Whether it was actually aimed at something you chose. That is the only measure that survives. You can start measuring today, or you can fill tomorrow the same way you filled today. Both choices are available. Only one of them is a choice. If today's conversation has served you, take it further. Pay Attention by C. Tribouet, 12 Lessons in the Practice of Seeing Clearly. Available now on Amazon.